Before I tell you who this is for, I want to tell you who this isn't for. And this is an important video to watch. This isn't for men who think that they can never change their lives, people who have given up and decided to be a victim, or people who have decided that they're going to be a slave to something on a screen or their sexual behavior. The men that we work with and the men whom I enjoy working with, the men that the Reboot program is all about, they are winners and they are high achievers. They're people who pursue excellence every day of their life. So this isn't a one size fits all program. It is a program for an exclusive group of men. And these men are businessmen, they are high performing professionals, they are doctors, they are lawyers, they are consultants. These are people who are making our world a better place, men who are raising children to be future leaders, men who desire deep, passionate relationship with their wives, with their girlfriends, their partners, businesses which are growing, careers which are on fire. Does that sound like you? If it does, I want you to keep listening to exactly what I'm about to tell you. It's my story, and it's the same story that I shared with thousands of successful men who found their lives threatened by this out of control sexual behavior. Now, are you fighting a losing battle against your behavior with pornography, sex, and masturbation? Is it starting to take a toll on your personal and professional life? And do you fear that you could lose your relationship or your career because your problem is beginning to spiral out of control? If you do, don't despair, because I'm about to show you how you can finally fight your urges, how you can break your addictive habits, and you can reclaim your life in 90 days. Yes, 90 days without relapsing. However, before I get too far into how to do this, let me just explain a little bit about who I am and why you should listen to me at all. My name is JK Emezi. I'm a certified recovery mentor, and I've helped over 15,000 men over the past decade stop their problematic behavior and manage their sexual urges. However, I haven't always been on this side of this addictive behavior. So, for over 14 years, I struggled with a serious addiction myself. I was exposed to pornography at 8 years old, and by the time I was 18, I was a full blown addict. And I knew my habit was a problem when I got to college and I could barely stay awake in lectures because I'd been up all night watching pornography, sometimes trying to find the perfect scene. Sometimes I was even masturbating 4 to 5 times a night. Other areas of my life began to suffer as well. My social anxiety got worse by the day. My self esteem and my motivation were very low. And I began spending hundreds of dollars per day, hundreds of dollars which I did not have, on live cam sites where the women would seduce me, where they would boost my frail ego. But it didn't stop there either. When I was 22 years old, my problem escalated. At that point, sex with women no longer satisfied me or gave me the thrill that it used to. And I needed pornography, but this time, really disturbing pornography to get that rush and to get myself off. So I began looking for random sexual encounters outside of my relationships with women. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Now, I knew this was wrong, so I searched for ways to stop my destructive habit. I mean, I tried everything that I could to help with my behavior. I tried meditation, I went for retreats, I worked with different coaches, I worked with therapists, I went for all sorts of group therapy sessions, 12-step groups or 12-step based programs. I read all sorts of self improvement books that I could on changing habits, all sorts of things on the subject. I even joined some spiritual groups, groups that were for masculine men to find their masculinity, and mindful groups, all sorts of things. You name it, I tried it. Now, I'll be honest with you, some of them helped more than others, but none of them were able to cure me. And I always relapsed within about 80 days at the most. Now, I couldn't fight my urges off forever, and I always fell back on my old habits. And maybe you've had a similar experience. I knew that I had to develop my own system after I kept failing. So I took everything that I had learned over the years, all the best pieces from each method, and I organized them into my own system, which is now called the Porn Reboot system. Now, when your computer, phone, or piece of technology is filled with viruses and it's slowing down and no longer functioning, then you reboot it and clean it out, right? Well, that's exactly what we do with your life. And that's why it's called the porn reboot system. I base this porn reboot system around three simple steps, not 12. We reboot your habits, your lifestyle, and your self image. And when I put this system into action, I was able to manage my cravings. I was able to replace old behaviors with new coping methods and end my addiction for good. I've been free of this behavior for 14 years now. The system I developed was vital to breaking my addiction, keeping my urges under control, replacing pornography with healthy coping mechanisms, and finally, changing my self image. And it's done the same for over 15,000 men so far over the past 10 years. And it can do the same for you. So let me show you why it's been so successful in helping men to fight this behavior and why you're so much better off doing it with us than actually fighting your battle alone. So, like I said, I base my system around three steps, which is habits, lifestyle, and self image. The first thing we do is that we identify why you are turning to pornography in the first place. Now, you might already know, and that's fine. We'll just dig a little bit deeper. Most of the time, porn is just a coping mechanism to deal with stress, trauma, emotional discomfort, unresolved conflicts, or loneliness. And when you can identify what your triggers are, what makes you feel like you need to watch pornography and masturbate, then you can deal with the problem at the source. So you will build the habit of eliminating the trigger and replacing pornography with a healthier coping mechanism. So if you do face the trigger, you have a better way to deal with it. And when you make the decision to become porn free, you must create a lifestyle, brother, which is conducive to that. And this includes accountability and support in the early days of this lifestyle. You get your own personal accountability partner who you can contact at virtually any time of the day if you ever feel weak or vulnerable. You also get access to my secret community of men who are dealing with the same problem as you so that you can connect with people for further support. Finally, the whole process is confidential as well. We understand that you probably have a public standing and you are a person who is important in your community. So everything we do is discreet. Finally, in order to stay free of this behavior forever, your self image must change. If somebody found a wallet on the ground, there are two types of men. One would look for the owner, look at the driver's license, and the other would take money from it. I'm assuming you're the man who would not take money from it and would return it to the rightful owner. Why? Because it's your self image is who and what you are. It determines what you do. So we will make you the man who just simply doesn't watch pornography. You're just that guy. It's just not what you do. But you have to change your habits and your lifestyle first. I realize that sex and pornography are deeply personal issues and can be taboo subjects. So again, I want to reemphasize how discreet we keep things. I'll never judge you for your sexual behavior either. There's nothing you've done that I haven't or one of my clients hasn't done. I've been exactly where you are. I've kept the secrets. I've experienced the shame and the guilt. So I understand the problems you face. So I'm here to help you. I'm not here to make you feel worse. Now, most of all, you get the confidence and the peace of mind that you can beat this behavior in as little as 90 days. Now, you might think it's impossible to change so quickly. However, you can break this behavior. You can change it in that time frame. We've done it for over 10 years. Once you establish the right habits in the first couple of weeks, it's just a matter of changing your lifestyle and then your self image. And one more thing, as you probably already know, trying to end this behavior on your own doesn't work. See, you rely too heavily on willpower, and when it eventually runs out, and it always does, you end up giving in to your urges and feeling even worse. And if you leave this condition untreated, it can truly destroy your life. I already told you about the toll it took on me. However, it can be much worse. Porn addiction can lead to erectile dysfunction, apathy at work, inability to concentrate, social anxiety, daytime fatigue, low self esteem, and even depression. It destroys relationships, it breaks up families. Please don't let your pride get in the way and let that happen to you. Now, I could go into all the details and tell you exactly how the program works, what accountability looks like, how all the different pieces work, what we do on our calls. But what I'd like to do for you right now, if you've stuck with me up to this point and you like what you hear, is to understand this. This is not a collection process. This is a selection process. What you have to do is you have to click on the link. You have to fill out the confidential application. You have to put in all your information as honestly as you can. And from there, you'll be able to set up a phone call with one of my team members. So they're going to get on the phone call with you and they're going to leave you better than they found you. They're going to get you your own personalized roadmap to your reboot. But it's going to need you to take action, to make a choice, and to fill out this application. Now, at this point, brother, the greatest gift, the greatest power that you possess is your ability to choose, despite all those little voices of doubt in your head. And you're going to choose to do something right now. You're going to choose to click and fill it out, or you're going to choose to click off this page or fill it up halfway and go away. Whatever it is, the choice is yours. I hope you can live with it. If you choose to get on the call, I'll see you at the other side.